App Planning for Success. Brought to you by Software Accelerator Playbook. On Instagram at S.A.Playbook.
Today on the podcast, we're talking about how risky is it actually to move forward with an app. Now, the idea here is that an app and a business are pretty much the same thing, that ultimately, in order to have a successful app, you have expenditures, right? You have to build the thing, you have to pay for the thing to, stay up, and then there's, certain membership fee. You have to pay a membership fee to be on the Apple Store, and you have to pay for stuff to be done, of course. And then on the other side, then hopefully people who are using the app then are paying, per month or per use or per whatever it is in order to use the thing. And that's got to be profitable, or else, then you're leaking money out. Now, some people, they build a system and they get it profitable over time. So, as they get the thing built, they're putting the initial, expenditure up front. They're buying the thing up front and then crossing their fingers that the money will come back to them later. But there's also a different way to make apps, and that way is to build something that you would use yourself to actually speed up something that you already do in your own business. So the idea there is that it's actually not risky at all to build an app in that case, as long as you can get it, technically made where it actually does what you need it to do. Because then as soon as you get it done, you're not guessing that it's going to be used and people are going to pay you. You know that you're going to use it and you're going to get value out of it. And so this happens every time. Every time I build a new tool for myself, or there's, if there's something that I don't want to do, that I want to automate, looking through spreadsheets, doing any kind of, calculation on top of what's going on. That stuff doesn't need to be done by me manually. I don't need to be in a Google spreadsheet, counting things up or, adding things up manually, that I can just have software do that. And so, time after time, when I find that I am doing something over and over and over again, I just realize, man, I don't want to do this anymore. This is going to be software. And then when I build the software, it's immediately valuable to me. I don't have to market it. I don't have to find people. I don't have to, buy ads to get people to, to use it. I'm not, crossing my fingers and hoping that people adopt it. I already know that just because I'm using it, it's valuable to me. And so I'm happy and I'm good to go from there. So keep in mind that as you move forward with your app idea, first of all, it's not the only app idea in the world. And you might find that if you go the route of building an internal app first for your business, if you build something that is, helping you speed up something you do already, or helping you automate what you do already, or helping you automate, getting files to your clients, or tracking, your client journey, or whatever it is, that's way less risky because of, the mechanism that you're not, making something new that you're trying to prove, people want to pay for this thing, and you're crossing your fingers and hoping that people actually want to pay for this thing. Instead, you're building something that people already need. You're building something that people are already wanting, already expecting. But you're speeding up your delivery time for that thing, or you're speeding up how much effort it takes you to make that. Okay, it's the same kind of thing that, like, if you're using a shovel to dig a hole, and then you buy a backhoe instead. You kind of know, like, okay, well, I got to dig this hole anyway. Well, if I can buy a backhoe, well, then then theoretically I can dig this hole much faster. I could dig this hole for other people. I'm speeding up. I'm being very, very, very efficient in how fast I can get this job done. And that's part of the trick here too, is that some people think that an app is all about, it's got to be this new technology. It's got to be this new, amazing thing that, that's never been seen before. But in some cases, that's actually the exact wrong thing to build. That in some cases, it's actually not beneficial to make something and just guess, 100% of your way through it. Now, obviously, there's ways to, limit your risk in terms of, what niche you're in. Are you already well connected in this niche? Do you know that this niche has a need for what you're doing? There's certainly, a lot of apps that exist that are kind of new concepts, but the idea is that don't sleep on taking a look at what you're doing in your own business and the time it takes you to do things, and then go for a optimization of your time in terms of the thing that needs to be built first. That if you could optimize your time and something takes you an hour a week, and then, you flip the switch and now you have software that, allows you to take 10 minutes instead, so you get back 50 minutes a week, then after, a year, that really, really adds up. That's a lot of time. And if you charge high amount per hour, that amount of time saved can really, really stack up. And not only are you then, saving your own time, what that typically means then is then you're able to serve more people in the same span of time. So it's not just that you're getting your time back, which is money in itself, but you are also actually able to then serve more people. If you can take on an extra client where you weren't able to, that's yet another influx of cash that can then help the whole machine go faster. So the idea of like risk, when you're trying to consider your risk in building an app, part of it is, has this ever been done before? And if you see somebody that has already kind of done your idea, that's actually good. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that somebody else has tried to do your idea. You can learn from their mistakes. You can kind of see what angle they took. You have no idea what their business chops are. You have no idea what their marketing plan was. But the fact that somebody else launched something along that direction, shows you, having competition shows you that there's money in that bucket. And if you find that there's nobody else that's ever done anything like what you've done before, you may have a harder journey in getting to profit, because there may just be more to figure out there if there isn't something straight up that other people are already doing. For instance, if you want to cut lawns, right? I mean, you look around, oh, there's a million lawnmowers, oh, how am I ever going to stand out, or whatever else it is. But no, plenty of people start lawn mowing businesses, and there's plenty of need for lawn mowing businesses. So just because you find a ton of other lawn mowing businesses doesn't mean that you shouldn't go into business, mowing lawns. It means, certainly you're going to have competition, but the fact that there's competition proves that there is a lot of need and there's a lot of money in that particular bucket. So, sometimes it should stop you in terms of, seeing competition and realizing, I could never come up against that. For instance, you probably don't want to build Walmart. You probably don't want to try to build, something like that takes a huge, expenditure and marketing to get, a store of that size off the ground. And then following that train of thought, then you're competing. If you're competing with Walmart, when they have, when they can buy things in bulk, and they've got, this huge mechanism already moving, that's really, really difficult to compete with. Now in app world, we're in digital land, and so it's not really typically that idea of holding big inventory and things like this. But just keep in mind that as you're trying to gauge your risk, that having competition is not necessarily, oh, people are already doing this, okay, I can't do this. It's actually the opposite. It's if there's nobody that is doing anything close to this, then I need to watch out. That's kind of the train of thought that I would subscribe to more than the other. That to see other people that are kind of doing the idea is helpful to know that you're on the right track, and there's always room for improvement. There's always room for doing it better. Amazon, for instance, selling books, right? I mean, there's plenty of people that were selling books. Why were they selling books too? What's the point? Well, they could do it more efficiently. They could do it a lot more efficiently, and then from there expanding out, having huge vision, and now you plug an Amazon Fire Stick into your TV, and now they're controlling, that channel as well. So to kind of wrap it up, the idea is that if you are considering risk, and maybe you want to kind of lower your risk, look first at your internal business processes and see if you are able to then design a system that will help, or not even design a system, because I can help you with that, or somebody else can help you with that. But the idea is like, what are you doing that's in a spreadsheet or in a CSV file, or analyzing something or processing something that can potentially be automated. And now, if you're not a software developer, you may not be able to think like, oh, this can be automated. You may not be able to think about that. But think about something that you do that's repeated and that takes a decent amount of your time. Maybe an hour a week, or maybe an hour every 2 weeks, probably minimum. And if you could press a button and have that done for you, how much time would that save you? And then multiply that out by 1 year, and then you figure out, okay, that's how many hours I could save in a year. And then you multiply out how much you're paying yourself per hour, and then you come up with this figure for this is how much money this costs me to do every year. And if you can get it built then for less than that, then you pocket the rest of that money, and you're actually finding profit within your own business because you're going for an efficiency play. You're going for a time play, getting that time back, and you will make that money back. It's not, hoping that I'll make the money back, hoping I can market to the right people, hoping I can get people to sign up, hoping I can get people on subscription, hoping that people stay long enough on the subscription. It's snap your fingers, the software does what you need it to do, and all of a sudden you're putting money back in the bank, and you're running your business more efficiently. So I hope this has been helpful to you. And if you need help with this kind of thing, if you want to chat about moving your app forward, send me a DM on Instagram at S.A.Playbook and get the conversation started. Thanks for talking.